Can we just check any fresh injury issues after Fulham, and is there any chance at all that Ings or Lamina will be involved at Old Trafford?
Although I know about the Old Trafford syndrome, that everybody wants to be fit if it's going to Old Trafford. I must say that these two guys are still not able to train with the squad. But the rest, I think, had passed the last game healthy, and we have no more injuries. And so it's for me to decide. Do I bring fresh players in, or keep the team that is successful, that was successful on Wednesday? I'll have a look.
The day after you beat Fulham, Claudio Ranieri lost his job, the second manager to lose his job this week. What are your feelings about that?
It's always disappointing if you hear that a colleague is gone and has to leave his job. I think he was a very delightful and sympathetic colleague. I would like to speak to him. It was the first chance for me to meet him, and very big gentleman. And I think it's a pity, but that's the business. I think I think they had good results in the beginning, but that's the crucial thing. If you are in a very, very bad position and you have to come back again, then it's a long way, and it's a very tough way, and so it's a pity that he had to face the rules of this business, and if you don't have the results, then you have to go.
What about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you think United should give him the job for what he's done at United?
I think they will. I think to be unbeaten since he overtook the job, it is amazing. It's outrageous. And I think with his history of being a player in Man United and now do it as a manager in a very, very good way, I think you can't have better signs to be the next manager.
He's still unbeaten in the Premier League, Ralph, but Southampton had back-to-back wins at Old Trafford in 2015 and 2016. What are the chances of beating Solskjaer for the first time in the Premier League this weekend?
We spoke about that earlier ago. It was, or in the time of Alex Ferguson, nobody wants to go to Old Trafford because he knew there's nothing to get. The years after, this mythos was not really one anymore, because I think that one or the other team could take points there. And the moment it seems that it's going back to this situation, that it's very, very hard to take points in Old Trafford. But we as a manager, and my team doesn't think in that way. We know that we can be a good opponent in every stadium for every team if you make it well, if we are very good organized. That will be showed against Chelsea, for example. It's also not so easy to take a point there, but we did. And I am positive. We had a very, very important win on Wednesday, and now we go with not that much pressure because nobody expects something from us. I don't know if they estimate us, but I think we showed that we also can take points in away games, and we are positive.
You still have United, Spurs and Liverpool to come in your final 10 games. How confident are you about keeping Southampton up?
I know that it would be a tough race until the end. That was what I'm always telling about. Against the next two opponents, every point you take is something like a bonus for us. The battle will go on after the Tottenham game, because then there are coming the opponents we have to take the wins we need for staying in the league. But these two games, I think it's fantastic for the players to go there now after this win against Fulham, because then we can be brave. We can show that we are not frightened about going to Old Trafford. We can enjoy this game. We can go there and make maybe a big surprise.
Chris Hughton, the Brighton manager, was saying that it was wrong of you to suggest that Huddersfield and Fulham are effectively relegated already. Do you regret saying that?
I was asked if I think that's only about this one position, and in general, it's not really for me to take energy in these thoughts, because it's the most important thing to concentrate on ourselves, to take our points. We know how difficult it would be for us to stay in the league, and we have 10 more points than Fulham or Huddersfield. And if you know that there are 10 games to go, and I was always speaking about that maybe in this year you need 40 points to stay in the league, then you can imagine they have 26 points to take until the end of the season. And with 10 games to go, that's with 30 points to get, that's not so easy. I think it's a sum of points. I can imagine that Man United or Liverpool takes this. So it's not easy, but it's not really my task to look on the other teams. I have enough work to do to look on my team, to prepare them for the next game.
You have 27 with 10 games left. How many do you think will keep Southampton safe?
It can be that we need 40. It can be, and that's what we are targeting. We want to have these 40 points, and therefore we need 13 more. And the sooner we get these wins to come there, the better.
James Ward-Prowse is being linked with a possible England recall. Is he playing well enough, do you think, to play for England again?
That's a good. That it's not my decision to take this. I think it's Gareth Southgate has this decision to take. What I can say is that he made a fantastic development of his performance since I'm here. We found a position for him that shows his strength in front of the goal, that he can score. I think that's something nobody knows before he was performing like this in the last games. And it's always the same in football. If you perform well and do it well and show that you have qualities that can help every team, then suddenly wins or selecting for international games comes by the way.
Just finally, Ralph, you had Yoshida back in the team for the Fulham game and you won. Do you regret not bringing him back into the team a bit earlier than you did, and keeping Stevens in the team?
It wasn't possible much earlier, so because he was in the Asia Cup, maybe 1 or 2 games earlier, it could be possible. But you don't have to forget that in this time when he was not here, we made a fantastic run with wins against Everton, Leicester, and so on. So that was not really a reason to change. And I'm not the manager who kills a player after making one mistake, because nobody deserved. Because we have a young team. We know if you play with young players, they are sometimes not serious enough or make some mistakes more than experienced players. And if you have a manager that tries to develop them, then I should be the guy who doesn't kill them after one mistake. And I think Maya knows that. I spoke with him. He was very open-minded for that, and he knows that this was the risk if he is going and the team makes it well, that he has not the chance to come immediately back in the first 11. But his quality and with his experience in the last game, he was an important player for us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys. We'll move on to the section for 10:30 this evening.
Ralph, that Old Trafford intimidation factor that you spoke of, do you sense your players have any feeling of that going there for this game?
Not yet. Today in the meeting, maybe we speak a little bit about that, and then tomorrow also. I've never been there, so I can tell them what it's about to play in Old Trafford. But I think our biggest strength is that we concentrate on the basics and on the work we have to do against every opponent, and then it is not so interesting how big the stadium, the stand is, or how big the pressure is. It helps to don't be nervous or to be more focused. That helps a lot.
You seem to be very much selling this as well as kind of to the players, I guess, as the pressure's off. You did the high pressure job on Wednesday, and now you can go out, express yourselves, put in a good performance, and whatever we get is a bonus. Do you think that kind of mentality will help them to relax a little bit?
We'll see. I don't want to put the pressure completely off of them because we need points. That's for sure. But I think if you find a good balance between being motivated and positive, and not afraid or frightened about the quality of Man United, what is absolutely there. Although they have a few injuries, but they have such a big team, such a big squad with a lot of talented players. Then you are more concentrating on yourself, and that's what we have to do. I think be concentrated on our style, what we want to do, and I can guarantee you that we as a trainer staff, we try to give them something in their hand that they can use.
In terms of goal scoring, obviously you've got Danny injured still at the moment, Michael's injured at the moment, Shane and Charlie have both obviously struggled massively for goals this season, and you've got some goals from midfield. Do you think you'll get enough goals from your strikers, or are the midfield and other players going to have to score most of the goals to keep you up this season?
If you look on our shape, then you will see that there sometimes are not so much nominal strikers on the pitch. So it's normal that the others have to score then. And we have very offensive-oriented midfield players like Prowse or also Stewie. And Reddy is normally also more a midfield player than a striker. And that's not interesting for me who comes in the position. If it is a striker, then it's good. If it's a midfield player and I know he can score, it's also okay. What is important for me is that we come in the situation where we can score. And I think we were in every game in situations where we can win this game. The last game was perfect because we made the goals in the right moment. But I think we don't have the big problems to score since I'm here. We had chances in every game and we scored nearly in every game. We had more problems to keep the clean sheet, and that was for me in the last game the more important thing, that we took the second one since I'm here. And that was perfect for everybody in the defense, that they see it works.
Obviously, it's been mentioned that Southampton have won on a couple of occasions recently at Man United. Will you maybe get the players who've been part of that team to speak about that in the team talks leading up to the game?
Oh.
Experiences with maybe the players who haven't been part of a winning team at Old Trafford?
I don't know. Fact is, they have more experience than me in Old Trafford, that's for sure. But I think all the history and all the statistic you have around this game, if you make it well or not, is not interesting in that moment. It's a complete different team now with a new manager, and there's a complete different atmosphere in this stadium. And to take something there is far away from easy. But I think that's the interesting thing for us. Arsenal came here with, I think, an unbeaten run of 22 games or something like that. And I always say that my team is in this situation, they believe in themselves, and I think it's important that they believe in what they are doing, and we try to prepare them as best as possible. We don't have enough or much training sessions until then, but with the videos and with our plan we want to give them, we try to find the few problems maybe the Man United can get in, and that's the goal we have.
Is the best way to succeed maybe to be positive and go on the attack? Because if they have got a weakness, you would probably say it is defensively.
I think it's good if you can surprise them sometimes, and not surprise ourselves like against Arsenal. Then we give them the chance to score 2 counter-attack goals in their own stadium against us. That doesn't happen. It's very important that we don't give such presence to them, because then it would be difficult. It can help to change the shape. It can help to surprise them with earlier pressing, but also it can help to defend like we did in the last game. And we showed that we can have a clean sheet with defending deeper also. So I think it's important that they don't know 100% what is coming, and we try to find the right balance in every situation.
Just on James Ward-Prowse, is he someone that when you came in you thought you could maybe build the team around, as you seem to have done? Has he surprised you with the way that he's brought into your philosophies and brought facets to his game that perhaps even he didn't know were there, the goal scoring and the tackling?
I think it was an interesting way he took. Since I'm here at first, I think Huddersfield was not part of the first 18, so not easy for him, I think. But he took the chance. Lemina was injured, and suddenly I think Ori was suspended, and then he get a chance to play on a position wherever. I don't know. I think at the beginning it was right back or on the number 8, and then he showed that what I was demanding from him, he can bring on the pitch, and I think that is the moment where you start to trust the player, where you start to get confident with him and to accept that he is a player that can help you, and that is a good chance to. I was speaking about an account where he's paying something in, and then if he had paid it, and maybe one time he doesn't make a so good match, then he can take money of it. But there is a lot of money now on this account, and therefore he can buy something, and he shows me every week that he want to put money on this account, and I think that's the best way to get a good impression by a manager.
He's someone that moving forward you can see being a big part of your team for years to come.
He's young, he's physically very strong, he can play also 3 games in a week with a lot of runnings. It's no problem for him, and that's a good basic for a good fundament for being successful in the future.
Big test for him and Romeo in midfield and Højbjerg against Paul Pogba has been the main reason, arguably, that Solskjaer has been so successful.
Yeah, I think he's not only a big player because he's very tall, because he's also a big player because he can score in every situation. Now he shows new qualities, I think, we haven't seen before. Pogba is not only the player who manages the game, but also now who decides the games, and I think it's very hard to defend him. And if you look at the teams that were playing Man United before, there were different options to play against him. One team was very man-oriented and marked him man-to-man. The other tried to defend him in this space where he is, and it's not really easy. But we will I hope we will find the right decision.
Just on players who've sort of repaid you and almost coming from the cold under you, Romeo is one of those as well, because again, when you came in, I think he just played a reserve game at Tiverton Town, didn't really seem to have a future here, but again, you pick him week in, week out.
Yeah, we have a few players. They are now in the situation they could not imagine that they will be in 2 months. So 2 months ago it was completely different. But I think they deserve to play because they showed up in the training sessions that they are very focused. They want to work hard, really hard, and Ori is, I think, the best example because in every game he's something like a leader and takes a lot of responsibility for the game, and that is exactly the player I like to have in my team, or every manager likes to have in his team, because he's every time positive, focused, a good team player, puts the ego away to work for the team, and that are exactly the players I need.
Just on Ward-Prowse, is your top scorer. Is that something you've encouraged him to do, go forward and score?
I think it comes automatically because he's now more in a position where he has the chance to score. Okay, to score outside the box like he did against Everton, I think it's not so easy. But in the other situations, he was in the box. He was following with his deep runs. The last game was a perfect example, I think, for his really target or focusing on scoring, because he went after this ball where and ready was shooting on the goal, and that helps him to come off more often in this position where he gets something, he earns something, and he has the physical quality to come there, but also in the moment he smells it where he can get something, and then he's there, and that's a very important thing for us.
And the last one, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was known as a super sub in Germany. Is there a similar word for a player that comes on and changes the game?
Once again, please.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer during his career was known as a super sub. He'd come on, famously in Barcelona. Is there a phrase in German that describes such a player?
Normally it's a joker. We call it a joker, and I also was a guy who was not the best player from the start for the starting 11 because of my weak fitness I had always. But I was a player when I was coming in. I was immediately scoring, and it's a quality to have this as a player, absolutely. And every team needs such a guy normally because it helps a lot.
Do you have a joke?
Yes, I think Chess showed against Arsenal that he comes in and he's immediately part of the game, very clever and immediately can score. And mainly these are the experienced players. They have this special feeling to come in and be immediately part of the game.
Thank you.
Thank you.